Do you think that's appropriate? Do the American people deserve to be abused like that, Mr. Fauci? Because you're not doctor, you're Mr. Fauci in my few minutes.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Ham for brains is at it again, folks. I swear, we can't go a couple of days without her spouting off and saying something stupid. But at least in this case, as we'll see, she gets reprimanded and put in her place by, surprise, surprise, yet another Republican. So stick around to see yet another House Oversight Committee hearing devolve into complete chaos courtesy of Republicans. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into today's rendition of What Stupid Stunt Did Marjorie Pull Now? Because today, infectious disease expert Anthony Fauci is facing questions from the select committee on the, let's call it the big sick felt around the world, so this video doesn't get demonetized, marking his first congressional testimony as a non-government official since stepping down in 2022. And you'll recall Dr. Fauci led the US's response to said big sick, a role that earned him both praise and scrutiny alike. And today, he yet again faced grilling from congressional Republicans over the origins of the virus, as well as the transparency around government agency communications and records. And that grilling devolved into a heated exchange between Dr. Fauci and Congress's resident Jewish space laser expert, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Mr. Fauci, you were quoted on CBS Face the Nation saying it's easy to criticize, but they're really criticizing science because I represent science. Do you represent science, Mr. Fauci?
Wow, what a quality opening question, Marge. Wouldn't expect anything less from her. After all, she's something of an expert when it comes to cues.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
I am a scientist who uses the scientific method to gain information.
Yes, you said you represent science. Do you represent science, Mr. Fauci? Yes
Again,
or no? Yes or no?
No, that's not a yes or no
Yes,
answer.
it's a yes or no.
I don't think it is.
Clearly, this will be a substantive discussion.
You also represent the type of science that where you confess that you made up the COVID rules, including
I didn't hear what you
6
said.
feet social distancing and masking of children.
I never said I made anything up.
You admitted that you made it up. You
I
made it
didn't
up
say
as you went.
I made it up.
So are you saying this is fake news, Mr. Fauci?
I didn't say I made anything up.
What did you say?
I said that it is not based in science and it just appeared.
But this is science.
What does dogs have to do with anything that we're talking about today?
These are scientific experiments. This is what you...
Yeah, thank you to this gentleman for expressing exactly how everyone feels every time this woman opens her mouth.
But let's also talk a little bit further about the type of science that you represent. NIH scientists made $710 million in royalties from drug makers, a fact that's been hidden. Let's talk about the fact about, is it right for scientists and doctors getting paid by the American people, government taxpayer paychecks to get patents where they're paid millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in royalty fees, especially when the NIH and these government agencies, most powerful agencies in our country, are recommending medical suggestions and advice and making up guidelines like 6 feet distancing and masking of children. Do you think that's appropriate? Do the American people deserve to be abused like that, Mr. Fauci? Because you're not doctor, you're Mr. Fauci in my few minutes.
Oh no, if we can't call Dr. Fauci a doctor, does that mean we can't call you a pig farmer?
I want that one!
This one here? You want this one?
Yeah, no, wait! That pig over there gave me the evil eye! I want that one! I want that one!
This one? This one notch here?
Nothing like a little disrespect to cap off an accusation built on misinformation. Not that she'd ever even be able to have a semblance of a good faith conversation about the fact that Big Pharma has and still does profit immensely from the big sick, but that in no way lies at Fauci's feet. As this Jacobin article makes very clear, the monopolies that Pfizer enjoys are hardwired into the rules of the global economy. In the 1980s, a handful of corporations led by former Pfizer chief executive recognized that their most important assets were not their factories, their workforces, or even their research base. Rather, it was the intellectual property that they sat on. The patents, the know-how, the trademarks. They set about persuading the US government to ensure this intellectual property was as well protected as possible. And in the mid-1990s, US-style patents laws were embedded embedded in the newly formed World Trade Organization. But as we all know, Marjorie's greatest strength is her ignorance. Because if you don't have to say anything based in reality, you can say whatever you want.
They want to know if you're eating a cheeseburger, which is very bad because Bill Gates wants you to eat his fake meat that grows in a Peachtree dish. So you'll probably get a little zap inside your body and that's saying, no, don't eat a real cheeseburger. You need to eat the fake burger.
But thankfully, there are a fleeting few in Congress who still have some decency and can put the pig back in her pen.
She's got a pig heart now. She thinks she's a pachyderm.
No, I don't need your answer. I want to talk about this right here.
Mr. Chairman,
Fauci,
objection.
Objection. I reclaim my time. Mr. Raskin.
Gentlelady will suspend.
Mr. Chairman,
Point of order.
just in terms of the rules of decorum, are we allowed to deny that a doctor is a doctor just because we don't want him to be a doctor?
Yes, because in my time, that man does not deserve to have a license. As a matter of fact, it should be revoked, and he belongs in
Gentlelady will
prison.
suspend. And the gentlelady should recognize the doctor as a doctor.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, is this what we have become? Is this what we have devolved into? No decorum.
You know what?
No, I mean, I was going to say what Representative Raskin said. That's completely unacceptable to be able to deny Dr. Fauci, who's here, a respected member of the medical community, his title. And that's actually a personal attack on his character.
And I have instructed her.
He's not respected. I'm not
Gentlelady shall
addressing him as
continue.
doctor. Let's talk about
Mr. Chairman,
this.
I
I'm
would
reclaiming
move that
my
the woman-
time.
While vigorous disagreement is part of the legislative process, as I said at the beginning, members are reminded that we must adhere to established standards of decorum in debate. This is a reminder that it is a violation of House rules and the rules of this committee to engage in personalities regarding other members or to question the motives of a colleague.
Hell, folks, they may not be allowed to engage in personalities in Congress, but you know damn well I can hear. Hit it.
Leash one, bad built butch body.
A what now?
Leash one, bad built butch body. Baby girl. Leash one, bad built butch body.
A what now?
Leash one, bad built butch body.
Now that is a bleach blonde bat built butch banger.
And your science here, your science is displayed perfectly in this picture where children in school were put in plastic bubbles because of your science, your repulsive, evil science. But yet children all over America were forced to wear masks. Healthy children forced to wear masks, muzzled in their schools.
All right, honey boo boo, how about someone puts a muzzle on you? Come off it with the whole protecting the children BS. Or have you already forgotten your Alex Jones era?
Tonight, the Republican Party is doubling down and giving credence to a group that is a megaphone for dangerous and deadly conspiracy theories. Most of the 211 of House Republicans are silent tonight over Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's past comments supporting the execution of prominent Democratic politicians. Instead, Greene, a QAnon supporter, has been given a seat on the Education and Labor Committee. And that should alarm everyone, all of us. For one, she tried to make a name for herself by suggesting the 2018 massacre at the high school in Parkland, Florida was a false flag. In other words, a planned event to kill kids. And then posted this video in March 2019, where she is seen confronting a survivor of that shooting, student David Hogg.
David, why are you supporting the red flag laws? If Scott Peterson, the resource officer at Parkland, had done his job, then Nicholas Cruz wouldn't have killed anybody in your high school, or at least protected them. Why are you supporting red flag gun laws that attack our Second Amendment rights? And why are you using kids as a barrier?
Deplorable. This type of ignorance, hypocrisy, blatant misinformation, harassment, hysteria, and utter lack of any morality, let alone decorum, is emblematic of just how far the Republican Party has fallen. And thanks to Moscow Marjorie Marmalade brains over here, it will only get worse until enough of us wake up, recognize the BS for what it is, and demand that the bar for our elected officials be raised. But as long as the likes of this shameful excuse for a human being are allowed to remain in power, that will be a long time coming.